Good morning, students. Today we are very lucky to have another member of Singapore Red Cross organization with us. He is one of the next generation of leaders representing Singapore Red Cross. We have Mr. Sahara Ani. He's in charge of the Singapore Red Cross Academy and he is the Dean. So with that, welcome Mr. Sahari, and we are very happy to have you with us. We'll just start with the first question, if I may. Just wondering if you were to have an internal look at your company, so the academy itself, what are, in your, I suppose from your perspective, what are some of the key indicators of success that show that your academy is working well?
Thank you, Sandy, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to share our perspective on this. Let me just bring back to the context, just to give you a better ideas why we put our strategy success into a certain context. As a training providers, the Singapore Red Cross Academy, we endeavor actually to contribute to the Singapore Red Cross objective of strengthening the community resilience through our training services. Our commitment to our social agendas drive us to deliver a very high qualities and sustainable training programs. Our three main indicators of our strategic success are three things. One, achieving our social agendas. As a social and humanitarian organization, this is key to us. We measure our success by the extent to which we are able to strengthen community resilience. This includes assessing the impacts of the acquired knowledge and skill by individual in contribution to the community resilience. Second, of course, our quality of our services. That is our training services. We prioritize on maintaining the highest standard of our training services. This is evaluated through feedbacks from participants, achieving relevant accreditation, adherence to the industry standard, both locally and globally. The next, of course, is the sustainabilities, both on the financial aspect and the enrollment aspect. Our goal is to ensure the long-term viabilities of our training program, means we be self-sustaining, not depending on fundraising of our colleagues. We track financial sustainability to revenue generation. We look at our cost management. And of course, we monitor the enrollment numbers to ensure that our program remain relevant and in demand. To do that, we actually come up with a strategic objective. We have developed our own value proposition. That is through our program called the Sustainable Learning for Resilient Program. Actually, this program aims to address the critical needs of a sustainable education and a training in our communities. Our vision, we aim to become the leading organization for a lifelong learning, helping individuals to achieve their professional and social aspiration while contributing to community resilience. At the heart of this sustainable learning for resilience is a holistic approach that integrates knowledge and aspiration. This program empowers individuals with essential skill and knowledge, focusing on effective response preparedness and vulnerability reduction while fostering the culture of care. Actually, what set this sustainable learning for resilience apart, of course, we believe it is an innovative approach. We align the acquisition of knowledge and skill with individual aspiration to address a common cause. We believe that by pursuing their aspiration, individuals able to maintain motivation and purpose, leading to sustainable and impactful growth in both of their personal and professional spheres. This not only helps them to achieve livelihood and social impact concurrently, but also propel meaningful progress across their various dimensions of life, society, and learning endeavor. Through this program, we aim to achieve our social agendas by continually improving our training services, gaining accreditation, and benchmarking against industry standards both locally and globally. We strive to be a thought leader in our area of expertise, that is community resilient. With a strong social cause and relevance to the work and life skill, our training services provide additional motivation for our service in enrollment, that's our training, and procurement, contributing to our financial stabilities. That is one of the areas of strength for our company, that is Singapore Red Cross.
So it sounds like you have a lot of programs to actually ensure the success of your organization or the company. And also what I really like is that there's well thought out measures to keep track of how you're going progressing with the strategy. And on that note, to expand a little bit more, what are some of your the Singapore Red Cross Academy's key resources and capabilities? And how do you seek to enhance those internal resources and capabilities so that you can achieve more as an academy?
Our belief that our value proposition is significantly enhanced by our key resources, means using our strength and capabilities of the Singapore Red Cross. We believe our comparative strengths are centered on three components. One, our reputation and branding. Singapore Red Cross established 75 years ago. We hope to continuously strengthen our reputation and brand. Our humanitarian activities and governance standard has been acknowledged by various stakeholders, and we're going to maintain that. We aim to be the thought leader in our area of expertise, again, humanitarian works and community resilience. Second, resources and expertise. Singapore Red Cross Academy and Singapore Red Cross as a whole, we are part of the global Red Cross and Red Crescent movement. With that, the Singapore Red Cross has access to the wealth of resources and expertise. This includes support from the various global reference centers, such as the Global Disasters Preparedness Centers, the First Aid Reference Centers, and the reference centers for the psychosocial centers. This ensures that our training services are aligned with global standards while being contextualized to the local requirement. The establishment of the Singapore Red Cross Academy Center for First Aid and Life Support, Center for Psychosocial Support, Center for Humanitarian Education allow us to be a holistic one-stop providers for community resilient learning. Thirdly, as a humanitarian organization, we base on our engagement and service platform. Similarly, again, for 75 years, the Singapore Red Cross has been providing humanitarian services both locally and internationally. Our training is based on established, of course, the industrial standard, but also a real-life practical application. Hopefully, with that combination, we are able to offer learners an authentic learning experience. How we plan to enhance these internal resources and capabilities. The Singapore Red Cross, we will continue to strengthen our reputation as the key humanitarian providers with the highest standard of services, governance, and integrities. What we will do, again, similarly, few strategies. One, we will continue to deepen our resources and expertise. We will continue to leverage on our global Red Cross and Red Crescent network and expand our collaboration and partnership within the broader humanitarian ecosystem. This will include engaging practitioners, corporate experts, and educational institutes to enhance our knowledge base and capabilities. Second, we will continue to strengthen our value proposition. By expanding our reach of our humanitarian services and engagement, we aim to deepen our service, our expertise base and engagement platform. This will involve continually improving our training services and ensure that they meet the evolving need of the community that we serve. Because our training is based on what we like, for example, the term called walk the talk. We advocate community resilience we provide and we advocate community resilience in the communities. Next, by scaling our service offering. The Singapore Red Cross Academy, with all the 3 centers, the Centers for First Aid and Life Support, Centers for Psychosocial Support, and Center for Humanitarian Education, we will continue to strengthen our capacity to scale our services offering. This by increasing our footprint in Singapore. For example, establishing more training centers. This we aim to make our services more accessible to user and communities. In summary, our strategies evolve on leverage on our strong brand and reputation, deepening on our resources base and expertise, and expanding on our services offering and engagement to enhance community resilience and humanitarian education.
Brilliant. I like that answer, so comprehensive, and I can see that you've probably have thought out, how you are able to continually improve and enhance what you've got and leverage on your resources. So with the final question, you might have touched on that in your previous answer, but just just to ask anyway, how will you then continuously assess your company's internal performance and capabilities? As we know, with all things, the ebb and flow of life, there will be good performances and not so. How would you assess that?
So I think this is something that I also again to put into a context itself. Even though we are very strongly social motivated with social agendas, we run our services as like any corporate organization. Thus, we follow the industrial standard, how we look into assessing our internal performance and capabilities. Just like, allow me to share very quickly a few key areas. One, we're going to assess our internal performance and capabilities and focus on 3 core areas: the service growth, reputation, and business growth. So key thing, first one is the service growth. We, as usual, following the industrial standard, we establish clear metrics and key performance indicators to measure our impact reach of our services. These include on the numbers of individual trained, the numbers of community engagement level, and the effectiveness of our training program. As a training providers, we also establish feedback mechanism. Regular collecting of feedback from participants, stakeholders allow us to identify area of improvement. Of course, we adapt our services to meet evolving needs. The key thing component is that for Singapore Red Cross, our value proposition or our social agenda focus on the area that we can contribute in community resilience in Singapore. So for example, right now we look at the aging population. For example, now mental health is being a key focus. So we look at how we can augment the existing effort as a national, as a countries. Of course, we continuously try to innovate using whichever existing, like any other training providers in terms of innovation and technologies. We incorporate, importantly, because as a practitioner, we incorporate latest best practices and references both locally, both and globally, based on our network. Next, of course, we cannot be complacent in our reputation. So few things again, we going to continue to do our stakeholder engagement, engage our stakeholder, including beneficiary, partners, donors, because for us, again, as with the social agendas, we want to make people, learners to be accessible to our training. Of course, people who can procure our services. If learners who are not able to procure them, we see certain level of funding to provide that type of trainings. So next, of course, our quality assurance. We uphold our high standard of service and quality governance. We believe that is a crucial component. For example, for Singapore Red Cross, we look at some international accreditation, like the accreditation to our governing body in Singapore, like the Singapore First Aid and Resuscitation and First Aid accreditation centers. We also look at the ISO 29993 as a benchmark as a service providers. Next, we continue to be the thought leaders on our area of expertise. We position ourselves as thought leaders in our community resilience, material education, And hopefully with this, we are able to continue to strengthen our reputation. This also include of sharing best practices, lesson learned, participate in global forums, and hopefully we try to advocate to the different type of channel, whether through the social medias or others mainstream medias. Next, our business growth. We will monitor our financial performance, monitor our financial health through regular financial reporting, analysis to ensure sustainability. We track revenue growth. We also look closely into cost management and financial planning. Strategic partnership, we continue to do partnership with organizations that have a similar interest and expertise. We believe that for Singapore Red Cross, though we have a very strong depth knowledge in our area of expertise, there is always room for us to collaborate with people with different niche areas. So we continue to do that. Of course, lastly, we look at our market expansion. We continue to expand our market reach by establishing, like we shared, new training facilities, developing various training platforms. Hopefully that this will able to facilitate us to reach into a wider audience and increase our impact.
Brilliant. Is there anything you'd like to say to our students?
For me, as being in this industry for many years, I think I do believe, regardless, because many of the time when people talk about humanitarian organization, people talk about social services, there is always a slightly differing ecosystem, whether it's the business and a humanitarian organization. Just to reassure all of you, humanitarian sectors, humanitarian or social sectors have evolved. We continue to strive. I think whichever activities that we do in the social system, the corporate mindset will give us the additional advantage. The motivation that we get, because in any career that we do, we always motivated by able to make an impact. Of course, social sectors, human sectors is one of the organization that is very strong opportunity to do a social impact. Does not mean that the corporate sector does not do social impact. Now there's a lot of focus on that. For Singapore Red Cross, for our activities, one of the key things is that either looking at the training facility services that we provide, volunteering with Singapore, the social organization give you a slightly different opportunity for you to meet people from different industry who sharing the same commonalities. I think that gives you a slightly dimensional. What I do believe is that the opportunity to be able to interact with like-minded good-hearted people, I think is one of the key motivation, and it gives you a stronger sense of purposes. That actually quite good for mental well-being, I believe. So similarly, again, I think for Singapore Red Cross or the social we have evolved. I think we will be surprised how much opportunity, especially the new generation, with the wealth of knowledge that they learn from the school, that can be very useful and making an impact into these sectors. Similarly, I think the fulfillment in these sectors have a different dimension, and it is not. I do believe I would like to share that we should not exclude the social sector as a career of afterthought. I think there's similarly, I think we have evolved that much, and there's so much opportunity for the student who, I mean, especially even for the in this specific area of studies that can contribute into the sectors and move the sectors equally. I think that's my thought to the student. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sahari. I think that's really good to leave on this note. So I think for the students, if our students are always continuously upskilling themselves anyway, and I love the fact that you highlight going through Singapore Red Cross Academy can actually further enhance their skill sets in social impact work, which is really much needed, whether you're in corporate or humanitarian sector. So with that, thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it. And it was great meeting you. Thank you so much.